My name is Andrea, and for my midterm report, I've chosen to talk about Leonardo da Vinci. Leonardo da Vinci was a painter, sculptor, and polymath who lived during the second half of the 15th century throughout the early 16th century. He was the quintessential Renaissance man. Leonardo da Vinci was born on April 15, 1452, in Vinci, Italy. He was born out of wedlock to his father, Messer Piero Frusino di Antonio da Vinci, who was a Florentine legal notary, and his mother was a young peasant named Caterina. He grew up with his father and subsequent stepmothers, receiving general education in writing, reading, and math. His father encouraged his artistic training, with Leonardo receiving an apprenticeship at the age of 15 to Andrea del Verrocchio. Leonardo helped Verrocchio with works of art, and it has even been said by Vasari that Verrocchio put down his brush and never painted again after seeing the work that Leonardo did on the angel and background of his painting, The Baptism of Christ. In 1472, at the age of 20, Leonardo da Vinci was accepted into the Painters Guild, but he remained in his master's workshop for 5 more years, after which he worked independently in Florence until 1481. This is when he did a lot of pen and pencil drawings, including many technical sketches. He sketched things like pumps, military weapons, and mechanical apparatuses. In 1482, at the age of 30, Leonardo decided to move to Milan, Italy, to work in the service of the city's Duke, Ludovico Sforza. He just received his first commissions from Florence, his unfinished The Adoration of the Magi, and an altar painting for the St. Bernard Chapel in the Palazzo della Signora, which was never began. Both projects were given up for reasons that we can only speculate. Leonardo spent 17 years in Milan until Sforza's fall from power in 1499. While there, he was a painter, sculptor, and designer of court festivals. He was also a technical advisor and consultant for the fields of architecture, fortifications, and military matters, as well as a hydraulic and mechanical engineer. As a master artist, Leonardo had his own workshop, painting 6 works while in Milan, including The Virgin of the Rocks and The Last Supper. Somewhere between December of 1499 and January of 1500, Leonardo left Milan, returning to his hometown of Florence. He was received with acclaim and honor as a renowned native son. In 1500, he was appointed an architectural expert on a committee investigating damages to the foundation and structure of the Church of San Francesco al Monte. In the summer of 1502, at 50 years of age, Leonardo left Florence once more to enter the service of Cesare Borgia, the son of Pope Alexander VI, as his senior military architect and general engineer. For 10 months, Leo sketched city plans and topographical maps, creating early examples of cartography. In 1503, Leonardo returned to Florence to work on a canal that would bypass the unnavigable stretch of the Arno and connect Florence to the sea by water, but this canal would never be built. It was during this time in Florence that Leonardo painted the famous Mona Lisa. This painting became so special to da Vinci that he did not part with it until his death. Through 1508, Leonardo stayed in Florence, focusing on extreme scientific study. He did dissections in the hospital of Santa Maria Nuova, broadening his anatomical work. He also studied the flight of birds, hydraulics, the physical properties of water, and many other subjects, keeping everything he learned in a written collection of data known as the Codex Hammer. From 1508 to 1513, Leonardo lived in Milan again. He created very little as a painter, but as a skilled master, he gathered many pupils, including the young nobleman Francesco Melzi, who became Leonardo's most trusted friend for the rest of his life. During this time, more scientific activity flourished in Leonardo's life. He worked on an anatomical manuscript and also spent his time focused on mathematical, optical, mechanical, geological, and botanical studies. In the year 1513, at the age of 61, political events forced Leonardo to move to Rome. He found employment through his patron, Giuliano de' Medici, brother of the new Pope Leo X. He kept a low profile, living in the Vatican and working on mathematical studies and technical experiments, as well as cartography. In 1516, Leonardo left Italy forever to accept the invitation of young King Francis I to enter his service in France. He was accompanied by Melzi, his most devoted pupil. The last 3 years of Leonardo's life was spent on the small residence of Clos, near the King's Summer Palace at Ambios on the Loire. At 67 years of age, on May 2, 1519, Leonardo passed away, leaving most of his possessions to Francesco Melzi.